show been pretty busy. Time to get to Bevo. As always, he joins us. Bit of controversy in sport over the week. Bevo, how are you?
Smithy, good to see you back in South Australia after your week in Brisbane, mate. Enjoying the sunshine?
It's beautiful, mate. Shorts on out on the ground, sun shining. Lots of stories to tell, but none at the moment.
Well, we were just freezing our butt off on Saturday, Baz.
Sorry?
Well, we were just freezing our butt off on Saturday, of course.
Well, you might have been. I was up in Suite 1, so no, I didn't get too cold up there.
Yeah, cold at Suite 1, mate. You're okay.
I was in the lifeboat.
I hope you guys enjoyed that while I was out there freezing my butt off.
Because you were. I did see Bevo up the footy.
Sounds like a personal problem, mate. Tell someone
That's right. Not a lot.
No, nor do we. All right, what do you got?
Something I do care about is Baz owes me an apology.
For what?
For Kyrgios.
What
Last
about
week
him?
I said he's a goose, and once again, he's carrying on like a pork chop. Before I get my apology from you, Smithy, what do you think of Nick Kyrgios and his carry on?
Well, firstly, I've never seen a pork chop carry on, mate. So, it's one of those sayings, carrying on like a pork chop. I'm going, whoever thought that up? There's a pork chop, actually. Anyway.
I've never seen one either.
No, nor have I.
I've never seen one.
Anyway, I reckon there's two things with Kyrgios. And here's the problem with tennis, I think, that tennis need to take some responsibility. So the first one is, Kyrgios is a bit like the movie Happy Gilmore. People are coming to see him play. They love him. They go to see the theatrics of he's going to do something. If you wind back the clock, it's a little bit like McEnroe. People went to, other than the great tennis that McEnroe
You cannot compare him to McEnroe because he's never won a Grand Slam, Smithy.
They're different eras, though, I'm saying, but most people went to watch McEnroe, A, for his tennis ability, and B, because he's going to throw a tantrum or he's going to have a crack at someone. So most people, let's see that. They're going to watch Kyrgios because he's an outstanding player, but they want to see if he's going to smash a racket. They want to see if he's going to challenge an umpire. They want to see he breaks all the rules. He's not in the mould.
Good point.
That's why tennis are in a difficult situation. But I think if tennis are serious about cleaning up Nick Kyrgios, the next time he does it, ban him from the tournament.
That's my thoughts.
Ban him from that tournament and then ban him from the next one. Because it's the only... I think Nick, he's a really good kid and he needs some guidance. I think that's where he is at the moment.
Darren Cahill would perfect Smithy, wouldn't he?
No, he wouldn't.
I've actually asked Darren Cahill this question, whether he would coach Nick Kyrgios. He said he'd be happy to sit with him and talk to him, but Nick would have to make some changes. And he'd have to be committed to the way that Darren wanted to train him. And I don't think Nick can do that at the moment. But that would be the perfect partnership. If he got with Darren Cahill, was prepared to go along the lines of what Darren asked, he'd be a superstar.
Yeah.
That's what frustrates us the most. Is he's got so much talent, Smithy, and you want to like him, but yeah, I can't. He frustrates me.
Put it this way, Bevo.
Okay, my apologies now. Or?
No, because I'm a Kyrgios fan. If tonight on the TV, when you go home tonight, you've got Nadal versus Djokovic, right? On the other channel, you've got Kyrgios versus Federer. Which game are you going to watch?
Nadal versus Djokovic, because I don't want to see Kyrgios.
What?
Because I'm not a fan of Kyrgios.
That would bore me to death, watching those two, compared to the greatest of all time, which is Federer, in my opinion, play Kyrgios, who can be anything and do anything in that particular game.
I'm not going to change
Did you see the game that he won?
I saw some of the highlights. And
okay, did you see that?
I'm not denying that he's the talent, but
he's an out-and-out talent. But he also, as Phil said, he drags people in. He gets people in. He gets people through the gate.
He does,
so
but
if you ban him for busting a racket, everybody busts a racket, mate. They all do it.
But he's done it so many times. It's really not a good look for our sport.
It might not be a good look, but are we a bit precious?
No, I'm not going to change my mind on this one.
So are we a bit precious, Bevo?
Who should take responsibility? Nick should 100% take responsibility for his actions, but if he's allowed to continually get away with
Tennis Australia.
Well, not Tennis Australia. The tournaments, not Tennis Australia's responsibility.
That's what I was thinking.
The tournaments that he plays in.
Well, Tennis Australia and the tournaments.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Why aren't the tournaments taking any action against him?
Because there'd be no one playing.
Because he's getting people behind the gate.
Yeah, exactly right, mate. It's this right here, the dollar.
I do agree with the Happy Gilmore thing. That's a very good summary, Smithy, because he does have a lot of Happy Gilmore about him. Check out that movie if you haven't seen that before, ladies and gents. But this is a movie we're talking about with Kyrgios is real life, and that's the difference. I don't know. I think
what we don't like.
Absolutely.
If you talk to most people, what they don't like about it is that he's got this unbelievable talent for tennis that we all think is being wasted.
Yeah, he's
that's
not winning.
That's the part that kind of aggravates
right. I agree
people,
with that.
I think.
Yeah.
And I think that's what aggravates you. And the tantrums that go with us. I reckon if you say, what is it you don't like about him? we'd all go, oh, he's just wasting so much talent.
Well, he's not
And
winning.
the
He's not
other
winning a
thing-
Grand
the other thing
Slam.
as
Not
well,
winning enough.
McEnroe, you mentioned McEnroe before. McEnroe actually won Grand Slams. You know, once
Sure.
Kyrgios actually starts winning Grand Slams, then maybe people might understand if he smashes the racket here and there. But the way he's carrying on, it's as if he's won 10 Grand Slams, he's won nothing.
Mate,
He's
how many
won-
games do you see, Bevo? Seriously, if you say the Washington Open that he won a couple of weeks ago, the only games really that we see back here are Kyrgios and his opponent, and then maybe the final. And you see a couple of other games. But you don't see these lead-up games where probably 10 blokes bust rackets and throw tantrums. It happens. I've seen them do it. So it's not just Kyrgios. Now, let's say Kyrgios v Tomic. They're a different kettle of fish. I don't like Tomic because he tanks.
They can both
Kyrgios
have a spell
doesn't
as far
tank.
as I'm concerned.
Kyrgios doesn't tank. Kyrgios fights. He's a fighter. And you know,
I'll give him that one, he does.
and he will, and I said last week, I think, that he will win a Grand Slam, no problem. I think he will because he's
Inevitably will.
he's so talented. He's going to win one because he's getting smarter. And if you listen to his press conferences as well now, they're different. He's even saying himself, hey, I've got a bit to learn here and a bit to learn there, but I'll get there. He's 24 years of age.
But
That's
Bax,
all I'm
he needs
saying.
if he had a coach, imagine how much better
No,
he'd be.
no.
He's gotta
Don't
have
talk to me
the
about
right- He's got to have
coaches.
the right coach and the right attitude. So
You know,
he'd have the
John
best coach.
McEnroe actually could be a good coach.
no. Don't talk to me
Because
about coaches.
They're like-minded.
Don't talk to me about coaches because Ian Chappell used to say the coach for the Australian cricket team should be the thing that ferries them from game to game.
Coach.
They don't need a coach. You need a good man manager because you're not going to coach them any differently to what they are at 24 years of
Well, a
age.
manager could be a good thing.
Well, that's it.
Well, he gets on really well with Andy
manager
Murray.
is what he needs.
Maybe Andy Murray could be a good sort of. A good
Well, I
mentor
don't know
for
whether
him.
Andy Murray is the type. Do
They
you
get
know what I
along
mean?
really well, though.
I think he's got
Yeah.
to prove himself to whoever manages him that he's committed to it.
Exactly
Until he's
right.
committed,
I
you
think-
know.
I-
All right, let's move on.
I
to
think
Kyrgios.
Bernard Tomic should
we'll
be his
spend 10
coach.
minutes talking about Kyrgios. You're not going to get your apology. You still think he's pretty good, and I like his talent. I just want him to tidy up some of his
I think the
antics.
Happy Gilmore is a good one
Yeah.
to finish with. That's a good
Okay.
comparison, Smithy.
Happy
yeah,
Kyrgios. Okay.
Yeah, happy Kyrgios. All right, let's move on to your sport, Smithy, basketball, because Ben Simmons has been one that's been in the news a lot lately and
Please.
stuff, and him and his mates from the NBA, what's going on there? They boycotted this game between Australia and America, and people aren't happy. They're spending thousands of dollars on their tickets, Baz, and you know all these good players are not going to play in it.
Phil, I seriously think you've got to be careful here with Ben Simmons because he won't come back.
I agree with you.
I think
I'm going to defend Ben.
we're
I'm
pumping him.
defending Ben.
Exactly
I'm defending
right.
him. I think he's
You know
suffering
Dave,
from the...
You know Dave really well, don't you? His
Yeah,
dad?
and quality family. Quality family. I don't know Ben. I've said hello to him a couple of times as a kid when he was growing up, so I can't talk about Ben, but I know the environment he grew up in.
Yeah.
He would be a ripping kid. So I think people are expecting him to do
Be careful.
everything.
Yeah.
So the guy's earning a lot of money, so he should go and coach kids for free.
Yeah.
You go, hang on a minute, they've got to pay all the other coaches as well that turn up.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
you want Ben to do that plus pay the coaches.
And he can't be everywhere.
So you go, hang on a minute, he missed signing a couple of autographs.
Yeah.
So what? There haven't been a lot of elite athletes over the journey that have. I can tell you now, Sally Pearson, who just retired, didn't like signing autographs. There were times I've seen her walk past a group of people.
Yeah.
Yet I never saw her get lambasted on TV.
I think they'd be
So I think
careful
he's
with-
under the
yeah.
microscope. Then the one at the casino, you go, well, okay, he didn't have his ID, or this got said, that got said. He didn't get in. He walked away. He didn't start a fight. He didn't cause any trouble. The media asked him what happened. So
Jump
he said,
all
this
over
was
him.
my... And then they're all over him. So I think there's a big risk. If I was Ben right now, for the treatment I'm getting from the media here in Australia, I wouldn't come back. Now, your point about not playing in these games, Ben said all along, and Basketball Australia knew all along, it was going to be unlikely that he could play. To ensure his $245 million contract, it's going to cost someone a lot of money. So you're not expecting Ben to play it, so we're expecting Basketball Australia to pay it. Now, they also have to pay for Paddy, Joe Ingles, and all the other NBA players. So suddenly their coffers are getting a little bit skinny because suddenly you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars for the team. So, plus Ben was such a main player for Philadelphia. So he's played 82 games in the season, plus finals. Now he comes home for a couple of weeks and wants to have a rest. He actually tried to do the right thing. I think he made himself available, and then I reckon they said, it's too much for you, mate. So if you look at all the players that are pulling out, all the ones that have played big minutes for their NBA teams back home. So they're trying to freshen up their bodies to get ready for the next season. The World Cup doesn't mean anything to the NBA players. The Olympics do, but not the World Cup.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps what they could have done, Smithy, and I do feel sorry for people that spent $1,000s on their tickets. Like we spoke off air, someone spent $4,000 on a ticket. What they could have done is they could have said this a few months ago and said, look, we're not going to bring the best players, from the NBA. We'll just bring like a second team, so that way people would then know whether they're going to go or not. So rather than sort of making people fork out all that money and stuff.
I think that's a
issue
fair
is.
point, but I worry about Ben Simmons. I think he's a superstar. It's a tall poppy.
Absolutely.
That's what it is here.
Yep.
Let's bring him
People
down
are
a peg.
jealous.
Let's bring him down a peg or
I
two.
am 100% batting on Ben Simmons' team. He's
Yeah,
a
I
ripping
am as
bloke
well.
and he's
I
doing
am
what
as
he
well.
can while he's here. We need to get to a break because the floor manager's winding us up like she's about to take off, mate.
We didn't get to talk about AFL.
Well,
we haven't got time
We'd
with you,
like to
mate.
bring you back for the close just to get to the rest of the controversy. Stay with us. Still plenty to come on the show.